come mai, come mai, la Champions League tu non la vinci mai.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Brothers of the World podcast. It's our usual guys here. We've got Chino and Hristo, and we've got some new stuff going on. We've got the transfer window starting to pick up. And so without further ado, we'll just go ahead and jump into it. We're going to start with some of our transfers that have been announced since July 1st has now passed. We've introduced Godin, Lazaro, Cincy, and to a lesser extent, Aguame. They've all gotten their videos and their formal presentations and whatnot, and it looks good. We have Chino. I'll let you pick this up first. Are there any impressions on these guys? Any hope? Anything you're glad about seeing them show up now?
Well, Gordon is a huge signing. Finally, we actually see him with an Inter jersey on. You know, he's been promised for a while now. He's a world-class player. So, definitely so far our signing of the summer. Sensi, what can I say? Somebody says he's what? The Italian Gargano. I tend to agree. I'm not going to say who said it first, because we don't like that guy, or I don't like that guy. But we'll see how it goes with him. What about Lazaro? Hopefully we have somebody to replace Lord Danilo. That's all I can say about that.
Nobody's replacing him, trust me. I like Sensi. I like Godin. I like even Sensi when he was linked to Milan. I think he's a quality signing, especially when Conte and Marotta already decided on the new path, because it seems like they're trying to bring more Italians into our team. So that's a good sign, because we're finally trying to develop players from the domestic league and not trying to buy some hyped players from other leagues, just like Kondogbia and João Mario were. So I'm excited about that. As far as Godin goes, as Chino said, he's an excellent signing. He's a world-class central back. He has a lot of experience, a Champions League experience, which is one of the most important when it comes to the mentality, changing the mentality of the team, which Marotta already decided upon. And as far as the Lazaro goes, I haven't seen much of him. I saw the game between Austria and Macedonia. He looked pretty promising. He even scored a goal. So I like those signings. And the one that we were most excited about throughout the winter, Brazil. And I think that all of them are pretty decent signings so far, but we'll see what's going to happen with them in the future.
Can I ask something, Hristo? Can I ask something, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Sensi kind of show up, or that transfer kind of just show up or pay out of nowhere?
It was really...
it was kind of strange. Like, was it planned? Was it not planned? Is he a replacement for somebody? Really? I don't know. Where did it come from?
I just think it was a really under the radar move. I think that it could have been something they were moving on in the earlier stages, but we just didn't hear about it because you're hearing about Barella, you're hearing about Dzeko, you're hearing about Lukaku, all these names I'm tired of. And this guy just shows up, and I mean, it's a pleasant surprise. He spun a couple of our guys in the 2 times we met Sassuolo, but who doesn't spin us on Sassuolo?
True.
So, I mean, I think this could be our really under the radar deal for the summer.
I think so too.
Kind of like Skriniar was when people were calling him a Pokemon and whatnot.
What's a Sensi?
What's a Sensi? Sounds like a water bottle.
Yeah.
I think even the match just said that the negotiations between Sassuolo and Milan were in a very advanced stage. So I was expecting him to sign for Milan, but when I saw the rumors, or a day of rumors about him to Inter, I was excited because he's an underrated player, as you said. He's been decent. He was even called up for the national team, and as we can witness every single national team that's in the top 5 or top 10 when they have a new player that being called up from a smaller team, the player's now worth 50 million, and the fact that we can get such player for like 5 million loan sum, that's a good sign for our management.
Is he the Italian Kante?
The Italian Conte, Brozovic, and Iniesta all in one.
Okay, great.
The pessimist in me wants to call him the Italian Gary Medel. So I'll keep that to myself.
No, the Italian Yanem Villa.
Oh God.
Oh, let's hope not. Moving right along, we've still got some possible outgoing signings to do. Our moves have put us in some debt now that we probably will make with some capital gains in the rest of the summer. Guys like Karamo, which is, I think he's pretty much gone to Parma for about 15 mil. Raja and Icardi, we've seen the statements. We'll get into it later. Dalbert and João Mario, we don't want those guys. They're probably gone. Smaller guys like Puskas and Luongo. Emers will be out on loan. DeMarco, Gravion, Brazil, probably also on loan. So there's some more moves to be made. Do you guys think any of these are very highly likely other than like Karamo?
All of them are pretty decent signings, but they will be even better signings for the smaller clubs. As far as Karamo goes, when he was at Bordeaux, I saw like few Bordeaux fans trashing him because, as they said, he has the quality, he has the talent, but there was missing something that's very important in today's game, and that's the mindset and everything that completes a player to be able to play in such a team as Inter is on such a high level, even in the Champions League. So I think I'm excited to see more of him because I was really hyped up when he signed for Inter because I saw the playing style for me is the most important thing, and the playing style of Karamo is something that really hyped me up for at the time. And I didn't get to see much of him while at Bordeaux because I don't follow the French league. And he'll fit very nicely in Parma. As far as the other guys go, I don't know what's going to happen with Bastoni, but he is maybe alongside Karamo the most exciting talent that we've had that's going out on loan this season. So I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about both of them.
I see Bastoni staying, I hope, just because we need that depth and he can learn probably from Godin, and he'll have some like backup, or not backup, he'll have some learning time again under him.
Remember Miranda came out today and said he's willing to stay, so there's a possibility Miranda stays as a backup. So I don't.
That's some really good news.
I'm not sure what it leaves or puts the position of Bastoni in jeopardy at Inter, at least temporarily, if we have Miranda as backup.
I mean, you need 6 guys, preferably in a 3-man back. So 3 at the back, you have 3 that can decently rotate. You'd have a backup of Bastoni, Ranocchia, and fucking Miranda. So,
DDR, DDR was his name? D'Ambrosio, sorry.
Yeah. I think D'Ambrosio is going to be the 3rd central back and not Bastoni.
Something you were saying, Hristo, about the style of player Karamo is something that excites you now.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from what Marotta said and whatnot today, talent isn't everything, and he seems to have a little attitude problem.
Yeah.
He had a big problem at Bordeaux with the manager over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I could say, he looks like he has the skill set, but attitude-wise, he doesn't seem to fit into Conte's project right now. So
I don't think he does.
Maybe at Parma, if he gets some time out over there and puts his head down, maybe he can come back to us as something better. But right now, definitely not. Skill set wise, he may not be ready as yet, and attitude wise, definitely can't fit right now.
I really like Karamo, and I've been a big supporter of him through his year and some change here at Inter. But I really don't see him continuing with us just because of that do it for the gram type mentality. And he got in trouble for fucking off to Paris in the middle of the season. So I don't know about this guy. I love his playing style. He's a winger with flair. We don't see that much, but we really need something like that, but a more polished, smarter version.
I completely agree with you. As Chino said, I don't think he'll fit in with Conte. We're gonna make a good profit with the amortized value, but we're gonna have still like 30 to 35% of the percentage of the next sale. So even if we don't exercise the buyback option and he moves on for like 20 or 15, 20 million, we're gonna get a pretty decent sum that's gonna accumulate to a maybe 15 to 20 million for us. So, I mean, it's a good signing nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We've got preseason coming up here 2 days from recording now. We're recording on July 6th. July 8th is the beginning of preseason in Lugano. And guys will start turning up to learn Conte's new formation. They'll learn from the new physical coach. I can't pronounce his name. Hristo, what's his name?
His name is Antonio Pintus, and he joins officially from Real Madrid, as they already gave out an official statement and replaced him.
Yeah, the guy's ripped. I've seen pictures. If he can make our squad look like some tanks, that would be great.
Yeah, they're gonna need a lot of running or do a lot of running for country.
Yeah,
I think what it is it Sensi or Barella who has like after Brozovic like the most mileage in Syria.
Both of them, I think, are in the top 5 or top 10.
I think Barella.
Top three.
It's Barella.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's going to be very workman type midfield. But the guys are probably going to be pretty short, which is my only gaffe with that.
But so far, at least.
I mean, who gives a fuck about the height if they have something in their
Yeah, I mean, we've got tall guys like Gagliardini and Vecino who don't really do shit.
Oh.
I'm gonna get some hate for that. For that one.
Hot day.
They're very hot and cold, so I'll leave it at that.
I mean, we have another guy up top that doesn't have much in his head, but we're gonna talk about him later on.
Oh, the great Icardi debate coming soon. Please stay tuned for that. But preseason in Lugano, it'll be from the 8th to the 14th, and it will conclude with the first match of preseason against Lugano on the 14th. And that's actually a year to the date that the two matched up in the 2018 preseason, which featured Lautaro's first goal in intercolors and a brace from Jan, the next Gervinho Caramo.
Nice.
When's that? The 14th?
Yeah, the 14th.
It's going to be exciting, especially because it's been 2 months or month and a half since we last seen an Inter game. I'm excited to see the young guys, and I hope Conte gives a chance to every single player so he can assess whose mindset is in the right place to play for a team and who's already on a vacation.
Okay, so who's showing up for preseason though? Okay, so we have Perisic. Everybody showing up on time. Who not gonna be there at least?
Miranda won't be on time, I'm sure. Lautaro won't be on time. Whoever's holding out may not be on time, but everybody else should be streaming in.
Godin not gonna be on the first day either.
Yeah, Godin and maybe Vecino, but I mean Vecino got hurt in the first or second Copa America game, so he could show up, he could not. It just depends on what they give him for a break.
Okay. I don't know why I asked him. I really have nothing to say about Lugano. I look forward to it, I guess. Skip me out on this. I don't know what to say.
I mean, I'm excited just to watch a game finally after a month and a half.
I don't like the angles. I have to watch it on one from one camera on YouTube. The first half is pretty decent, and then as the substitutions come in, and it just gets really awful.
I mean, it's like watching a Primavera game. It's like you'll get a chance to see some young guys and just to brag on Twitter that you've seen the young guys in action.
Speaking of the young guys, I could see guys like Esposito and the other Primavera guys that we've been hearing a lot about. They'll get their runouts probably in preseason. We'll probably see Bastoni too, and I'm excited about seeing those guys. Yeah, even though it's just going to give me too high an expectation, and then I'm just going to be disappointed. But it's fun. It's fun to hope.
I'm just looking at the schedule, and as you said, the Lugano game is on the 14th, and then we have the tour, the ICC, with Manchester United on the 20th and Juventus on the 24th. So we are playing Juventus in like 2 weeks time. So that's gonna be exciting.
Holy
That's good.
shit.
I forgot that we were playing such a game so soon.
It's in China. Nothing. It's gonna be early in the morning, right?
Yeah, so for us, Western Hemisphere guys, that's going to be getting up at like 8 a.m. to watch some Rice Field games.
I think we're
China
in Indonesia.
and Singapore.
Singapore. We don't have anything in Indonesia. I saw some guys on Twitter, like Oily, and them saying they wanted to go.
No, I think the game. I don't know how accurate this is. I'm gonna check on inter.it too, but the site that I'm using, it says that the games both against United and Juventus are going to be around 1:30 p.m. Italian time. So that's like 7 a.m., 7:30 your time.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, when we played against Chelsea and Lyon and those guys, when we won that baby tournament, I got up every morning to watch that, and I even got up the morning that Kondogbia scored a 50-yard own goal.
My condolences.
It was worth it for the meme.
I'll do it again this year too, for sure.
Yeah, I'll miss him and João Mario.
Oh man, I hope we get those guys out. I hope we ship out the dead weight that we need to ship out before, like, a week before the season, so they're not just taking up space that somebody we will be using in our project would be taking up.
The rumors about Dalbert going to Lyon kind of cooled out, but I pray that they're still negotiating a deal, because that's the most important thing that we should do this summer. I think if Dalbert is sold, then Asamoah and Perisic are going to be assigned the left wing position. So that's going to be exciting, because both of them are capable to do so. And Dalbert, it seems like he's an excess, so nobody wants him at Inter.
Yeah, he needs to be. That's some of the dead weight we need to cut off. Next, I want to take in some hypotheticals now that the squad's beginning to take some shape. And I've got what the starting 11 could look like with what we have so far if the window were to hypothetically shut maybe tomorrow. And we still have some gaps. We've got like gaps at center forward. We've got gaps in the midfield. But if we were to start tomorrow, I would say, we'll probably be playing the 3-5-2, because I think Conte's 3-4-3 was just a concoction for the Premier League. So we'd have Handanovic at the back, of course. Left to right in our back three, I think it's going to be Godin, De Vrij, and then Skriniar at the right center back position. Left to right across the five, well, I think it'll be Perisic, Sensi, Brozovic. Somebody's going to have that other spot there, probably Barella. But for now, it would have to be like Vecino or Gagliardini. And then right wing back, Lazaro, Candreva, D'Ambrosio. We still have a gap up top. So the only two true center forwards we have right now are Lautaro and, to an extent, Politano. So there's still some work to be done up there, because Icardi is as good as gone, with comments being said. But again, stay tuned. We'll get into that. What do you guys think the work to be done is going to be, and how do you guys think we're going to line up, or how we could line up?
Well, definitely our weakest point right now is at centre forward. So we need to push on and try to get Lukaku. That is Conte's first choice. I guess those rumors that came out on Friday about Juve showing some interest in him, I think that's just bait. Either, just to maybe drive up the price, or maybe to even force into buying Lukaku. So they shift or have a need to sell Icardi one time. Whatever it is, Juve doesn't seem to be interested. So we're going to get Lukaku. I don't think that's a doubt. Like I said, Lukaku more importantly than Dzeko. Dzeko still might be a possibility, but he's less important to me. At least second striker, Lautaro, Politano, that's safe for me. In midfield, I have no idea what we're going to do in midfield. I would like Milinkovic-Savic badly if we have to replace or sell Raja. These reports about Vidal possibly coming. I don't know. That's just one drunk for another, and one drunk with worse knees, I think too. So I'm not sold on him at all. I would really hope for somebody like Savage, but I was probably wishful thinking. I heard about Matic earlier today as well. I don't know about him. I don't think that's a good signing. What do you guys think?
Apparently, Savage is on his way to PSG for like 75 mil, which it sounds like a bargain when you take into consideration that Barella is worth 50 and Savage is worth 75 without a doubt. And as you said in the group chat today, we'll agree that selling Icardi and buying Lukaku is a downgrade. But I mean, if you cannot invest the money directly, you can go for Lukaku on a loan with obligation to buy. And SMS is a viable option, taking into consideration that Lazio are interested in Gagliardini, and we can make an offer that's suitable for both sides. So I just want for them to play the right cards at the right moment and get the players that we need to complete the team.
Yeah, Milinkovic-Savic is the dream. I would love that. I think every Inter fan that in this divided fan base nowadays, I think we can all agree on Milinkovic-Savic. We all hold him in a high esteem. We've watched him play. He can do everything. He would fill a lot of holes we've had for a few years now.
Yeah.
And Lukaku plus a backup is going to happen one way or another. But we have to see in time. I mean, we've got a few weeks, I think a month maybe, in transfer window left. So we never know. None of us have talked to Morata. None of us have talked to Conte or Auxilio. So in the end, we can just speculate. We can say what the media tells us and what we hope. But in the end, we're not there, and we just have to wait.
When the transfer window closes, on the opening day or the last day of August? I'm not sure about that.
I believe it's the last day of August this year. They did the before the season last year, but I don't think it's the same this year. I will look it up.
Yeah, I think they changed it. Like, I really believe Lukaku must come. There's no possibility of us letting him slide or letting him get away because of the stand Morata is taking with Icardi and whatnot. We need to give Conte what exactly he wants, and there is no other options out there. I mean, who else are we going to bring in if we don't sign Lukaku? Don't tell me Dzeko alone, you know?
Nobody comes to mind, honestly. Maybe Cavani?
Well, I saw the backup deal.
Cavani would be a great deal. I'll take Cavani hands down. You know, but
I saw the plan B to Dzeko being Fernando Llorente, but I don't see that happening. And I mean, that's just the backup to Dzeko. That wouldn't be a starter.
Yeah, who's the backup to Lukaku?
I don't think there's a backup.
I haven't seen an alternative, but we'd have to have a big name. There's no way that we wouldn't. And the update on the transfer window closing is September 2nd. So it's a little bit longer, actually.
Yeah.
So lots of time.
Yeah.
Lots of time.
Games will be kicking off with the second or third round this year, second round?
Yeah, that'll be around there because, I mean, we kick off the late 20s in August.
24th, I think.
Okay.
So,
it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it depends. I hope that they don't leave a single thing to be done at the end of August. I just want every deal to be made.
Maybe sales incoming shouldn't be, at least incoming should be done by then.
I have PTSD from the De Boer era when he signed 10 players and when he was signed like a few days before or a week before the first match day. So I just want every deal to be made or the incomings to be made by the end of July, and then August can be used for selling players, balancing the books and stuff like that.
And that would be the smart way to go. But, I mean, when has Inter done the smart thing?
Yeah.
I haven't really vocalized this before, but why I'm so adamant that we get Lukaku for Conte is that I'm kind of worried that Conte does what he did to Juve, he does to us.
What? Wins us a Scudetto?
No, not even that. Just tell us, well, fuck off. You all don't get me my transfer targets, and I'm gone.
Well, Mancini
know?
did it to us 2 years ago,
Yeah,
3 years ago
exactly.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want Conte to get exactly who he wants, and then let him work.
Yeah, we don't need
He
that
worries
drama
me.
this year.
Yeah, he worries me.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Suning are too ambitious to abandon such project.
Yeah, that's
And
what I'm saying. They will get who Conte wants.
I think so too. I think they're betting everything they have and putting the eggs in one basket,
Yeah.
and they hope it works. I think it's gonna work. I mean, we have top three with lockdown just by signing Conte. Like, even if he can do a miracle with Giaccherini and Pele, I think that we have the third place lockdown. Juventus are too far ahead for the first place, and especially if Icardi goes to Napoli, I think Napoli are going to finish second, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah. Or maybe later in the conversation.
Next, I want to add something in that we've talked about doing for a while, but we're finally getting to now because transfer rumors keep dragging on, and we can't talk but for so long about it, or for so long in these guys' ears. Thanks for listening, if you still are. So we're going to do a transfer rumor, just kind of quick fire. I'm going to throw the names out. Y'all are going to tell me the number rating that you would give these transfers in usefulness and in likelihood. And we're going to try to get through this pretty fast. So are you guys ready?
Yeah, no explanations, right? We're just doing it.
Wait,
Yeah.
They're sitting a number. Best out of 10, right? 10 being the best.
The likelihood of the transfer happening or
Yeah.
the usefulness?
Likelihood.
Give me a number for both.
Okay.
So I'll put Barella, Lukaku, and Dzeko into one by themselves because we don't need to talk about that much.
Yeah.
For those three, I say it would be an 8 to get all three of those guys. I think it's probably like a 6 out of 10 likely that we do.
Okay, Barella and Lukaku, 9 to me. Dzeko, 6 to me. Likelihood, or maybe less, 5. Sorry for breaking it up, but Dzeko, very unlikely in my opinion.
I think it's an 8 out of 10 for the three of them. The likelihood, that is. The usefulness, I think 9 out of 10 because Lukaku and Dzeko are both contest like type of strikers, and Barella is an amazing young player from the league. He knows the league and is a fan of the club, so that's a bonus.
Oh, I didn't say usefulness. Well, I put them up as a 8 too. All three. They will all be useful.
All right. This is going good. So what about Milinkovic-Savic? We've been talking about him a bit. I'll put that to Hristo first.
I would say likelihood of happening 1 out of 10. Usefulness 10 out of 10.
Ooh, I'll be a little more optimistic. 3 out of 10 likelihood and 10 out of 10 usefulness.
Well, I'm the most hopeful with that. I've got it 5 out of 10 because I'm not sure. I think it could happen. I think we could move fast and really shock some people with that. And of course, he's a 10 out of 10. Like, everybody loves that guy.
You're so pessimistic.
Next, we've got some kind of more far-fetched rumors. We've got Dani Alves.
Ooh. 4 out of 10 possibility. Usefulness. 4 again. I think he's finished, personally.
A likelihood of happening, I'd say 6 out of 10. Usefulness, I'm a bit, I don't know, I'm going to put it at 9 out of 10. I think he's an amazing, and he was the man of the match against Argentina. He was one of the best players for Juventus when they were competing in the Champions League. So I think that his experience and the quality that he possesses, even at 36 years old, I think the combination of both is going to affect Inter in a positive way.
Bro.
I have the bleakest outlook on him. I say that's a 1 out of 10. I think it might just be some media BS. And I think he's aging and his wages would be extremely high. So I say he would be a 3 out of 10 usefulness.
If they used VAR in the Argentina game, as they should have, he did a ninja tackle on Aguero before Brazil scored a second goal, which should have been a penalty for Argentina. So it's kind of clouded how he was the man of the match. If you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
VAR inconsistencies, I mean, Italy happens too. So those go hand in hand. He'd still do.
and we would get fucked. We are Inter. We would get fucked. They would call that shit.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Another kind of outlandish one that I've seen developing soon or here recently, Nemanja Matic.
Oof. 3 out of 10 possibility. Actually, no, it could be higher. Maybe 4, 5. Yeah, 4. And usefulness, 3.
I'm going with the likelihood of this transfer to happen. It's gonna be 3, as Chino said, and him fitting in Conte's system. I think he's the player that Conte wants. So maybe 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that's what I gave him on usefulness. I said he could be decent depth, but I said that's going to be a 2 out of 10 likely, just because I think that's media, again, just throwing out some names. Like, it was probably an English paper that started it. So if it starts in, like, the Sun, like, I mean, I wipe my ass with that.
I don't know who started the rumor itself, but it's not a viable rumor in my opinion.
Was it that we offered Nangalan for him? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus.
But then you go on Twitter and United fans are saying, if you want anybody, you have to give us Skriniar, which is ridiculous. I won't even get into that.
The fair to ask whatever they want, you know?
One more United guy. I've seen Darmian linked for the 10 millionth summer in a row. That's a 1 for usefulness, and that's a 1 for likeliness. I do not rate this transfer at all.
No, that's unfair. I'll give him likelihood of it happening. This year could be the year. I'm going up to 7 for him.
Fuck no.
It could happen, and usefulness. Damn, he's gonna get a lot of playing time. 6 or 7 with Conte. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go with likelihood of it happening, 2 out of 10, and usefulness, 0.5 out of 10. And even that's a compliment. He's a fucking terrible player.
Gotta make him a choke.
Damn, it must have been funny.
You're gonna choke on Icardi's dick too.
Shut the fuck up.
All right. Let me keep you guys here for 2 more, and then we'll get into that debate. Llorente as a plan B to Dzeko. I say that's a 2 out of 10 likely and a 4 usefulness.
Likelihood, maybe 1. Usefulness, if he does come, maybe a 6 or 7 actually, as a backup or whatever to Dzeko.
Likelihood of it happening is gonna be high.
You think so?
If Dzeko doesn't come, Llorente is a low cost option, a year-long contract, knows the player, knows the system. I mean, it's a win-win. As a backup, especially.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I've got that at a 2 likelihood and a 4 usefulness. I don't really know enough about him recently to really comment on his usefulness. I know he's getting up there in age, but maybe if Conte gets who he wants, he'll probably make something happen. He did it with Italy. He's got a history of doing that. So the last rumor I've got here is Vidal. We've talked about it a bit, but I'll shoot that to Hristo.
The likelihood of the transfer happening, 2 out of 10, and the usefulness, I'd say 7 out of 10.
No, and we're so fucking broke. I know, was looking for a deal. Likelihood of him coming. This is the second year in a row we've been looking at him. I'm going with a 6. How useful he'll be? Maybe a 4. Yeah. I think he's finished as well.
Yeah, I've got it as a 3. I don't think it's very likely. I think that's some more just linking Conte to guys that played at Juventus in like 2013 through 15, as we've seen in a lot of this. And I think that's about a 5 out of 10 in usefulness. I kind of noted that I've been making a lot of player comparisons this pod, but I think he's just Chilean 9-goaling, so I don't think there's too much there that we don't have already. Maybe a little less Coke, but other than that, I think there's not too much. So
Same amount of alcohol.
yeah, same alcohol, maybe a little less Coke.
Jesus.
So now we're to what everybody's been waiting for. The great Icardi debate. We all know what it is. I've got some stuff here. I'll go on a little monologue here if you can take my ear, or if you can take me to your ears.
Hold on.
Icardi,
All right.
we know what he is. He's got 124 Inter goals. He's now the former captain, 2-time top scorer in the league, 7th in Inter goals. We all know the controversy. I've got a rundown from Fede Nerazzurra. Shout out again. But he recently put out a thread of some incidents, and I added a few in also. It starts with February 2014, which he only signed in July of 13, so this was just months down the road. This one guy in Icardi's entourage, there's a video of him tearing up a picture of Diego Milito saying along the lines of "Enough of Il Principe, we want Icardi." And I mean, that's just disrespectful. That's not a good sign for a 21-year-old at the time. February 2015, we have the first supposed contract issue. Supposedly, he avoided celebrating any of the goals in the win against Palermo in that month, and that was because of his contract. Supposedly, I will leave on there. October of 2015, Icardi fired his agent of 10 years to hire the infamous Wanda Nara. July of 2016, we know what happened there. He was left out against PSG in a preseason match, one of the last of Mancini, and that was coming off of the infamous negotiation reveal from Nara that they were negotiating with Napoli on a new contract and a deal. And that worked. That got Icardi a new contract. Just a few months later, the also infamous autobiography. Who writes an autobiography at 23? There's not much there. That's beyond me. Where he threatened to kill ultras with 100 Argentine criminals. And after that, his form took a drop. He missed a penalty. But he got back on track. It was a lost season, but he got back on track. We resurface in we refocus in May of 2018. Wanda being quoted in Argentine media saying that at the lift of a finger, Icardi can get players out of Inter, but he's not doing it because he's humble. That's a very humble brag. I will move on. Then we're here to February and March of 2019, the fights with Spalletti, Wanda on her TV show in Italy, Tiki Taka, trashing Perisic. The captaincy gets stripped. Perisic and Icardi, Spalletti, there's a bust up. He claims the knee injury, misses the derby, misses Europa League ties. We get eliminated to Frankfurt. It takes a lawyer to sort it out, and relations haven't been the same since. Even in that time, family spats between Icardi's sister and himself got onto Twitter. It was a mess. I remember seeing that. And I mean, with Icardi, he's a great goal scorer. We all know this. We all respect what he's done. But it seems like there's just trouble just below the surface at any time. And the guy who has seemed to step up has been Giuseppe Maratta, our new director of sport. We know about him. Some people say he's a Trojan horse, that he's just selling our best players. Those are the tinfoil hat guys in Inter.
Alex Jones.
Hey,
But Maratta, a rundown. He bounced around Serie C and B, been to Atalanta, Sampdoria. At Sampdoria, he did a complete squad clean out in his first summer. In the next few years, they would make UEFA Cup and Champions League appearances. He would do the same thing at Juve with a complete overhaul in his first season. He signed 14 players and sold the likes of Trezeguet, who was a club legend, and Diego, who was a playmaker, pretty hot shot at the time. He begged to stay at Juve and was sold despite that. He's also, we know he's a disciplinarian. He's transparent. He was part of a 2017 incident where Bonucci was left out of a Champions League tie after a bust-up with Allegri. And we know that he's not going to take bullshit. And then he came out and he gave his speech saying that Icardi and Nainggolan are great players, but great players win games and teams win titles, which I think is just the ambition of Suning right now and just the whole club in general. So without further ado, I'll turn it out to you guys and let you go at it.
Chino, go ahead, Hristo. What do you have to say? No, I'm good. Let me hear Hristo first. Yeah, I'm going to close this out.
I have to listen to the other side. I have to understand what's your opinion on the whole issue, on the drama, on everything what's happening. So I have to understand, what do you think about it? As Mikey said, Mikey is the voice of reason.
So I gonna let you finish me off. What can I say about everything Mikey said? A lot of what I want to call a lot of fake news. I don't understand Italian. I don't know who's this guy who ripped this picture in 2013 or whatever year is that. I don't know anything about that. Right? Throughout all this time at Inter, besides this last incident that happened with Spalletti, everything that they talked about, I mean, there's a lot of issues with his agents and whatnot, but Icardi has not been a problem himself. Every manager he's had, nobody has complained about Icardi before. He's been a professional. He's done his job. He's scored his goals. There has been no issue with him except what happened recently with Spalletti. So my issue or my problem is that with him or with this whole situation is that we are losing a great player. And he is going to play football still. And he is going to play football at a side or at a team, if you want to believe that he's either going to Juve or Napoli, that are going to be chasing titles right now. Right? Mm-hmm. What are they willing to accept this problem? And if they are willing to accept this problem while having bigger ambitions than us right now, then why can't we solve the problem and fix it now? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the problem? Why can't we do it? This is a player who wants to stay at Inter. Don't get me wrong.
Does he?
He has been fighting for a new contract. So it's a new contract to make him stay there longer while earning more money. Right? That's what happens when you sign a new contract. You extend your contract and you stay longer.
Mm-hmm.
So there shouldn't be any debate or any question that Icardi wants to stay at Inter.
I mean, I remember us renewing Guarin's contract, and he was sold like 2 or 3 days after he signed a new contract. So a new contract doesn't mean shit. But the point that you are trying to make, I completely agree with you. During his time at Inter, he was underpaid. He should, like the rumors or the latest numbers that we keep seeing for Lukaku is that he's going to get like 7.5 to 8 million euros per season, which is more than Icardi gets. But I think that Icardi is the one that fucked himself over when he sacked his old agent and signed Vanda. Just keep things separate. Nothing will ever come out of the family that's good when it's connected to football. Like, she's the one that fucks everything up. As you said, he never said shit about Inter. We don't know that. I mean, she's the spokesman for him. Whatever she says, I'm sure that he tells her to say that. I don't think she'll go out on a national television or her show, Tiki Taka, to talk shit about players, about Perisic, about Inter, to say that they are negotiating with Real Madrid, that she is the solely responsible person to increase his market price from 14 to 250 million. So I don't know what she's trying to do here. Like, as an agent, you should always try to make the deal possible for your client. but Maroto is now in charge. It's not Branca or Auxilio that's gonna be bullied by Vanda. He already had so many characters at Juventus. Like, if he complied to every demand that Juventus player had during his time at Juventus, he'll end up now like Sabatini did at Bologna. You have to manage big characters. If you don't um, end up managing them or calming them down, you have to sell them. You have to show a character. I completely agree with you. I think that signing Lukaku at the expense of selling Icardi is an issue and is a downgrade. But if you implement a system in which Lukaku can exploit the gaps or exploit the system itself and can score 20 goals per season or contribute 20 goals per season, 15 goals, 5 assists, I think it's a good deal for us. Like, if they're trying to make an example from Icardi and how not to behave, and even Raja. Like, Raja was signed last year upon the request of Spalletti, and now he's been linked to go out even on loan. On loan, a player that was an amazing player like just a year ago. So, like, they're obviously trying to make an example from both Icardi and Raja. I just hope that everything is gonna end up settling down. I've been a fan of Icardi, but his antics off the field has made me feel less passionate about him, and not only passionate, but also like excited. I was excited to see him play. Now, when I see him play, I know that he doesn't give a shit anymore because he was willing to fake an injury throughout like 2 months period in which we played the Europa League game. We had so many important games, including the derby against Milan. So if he's willing to leave his club that he claims to be supporter of, then how can I support a guy like that who's not committed to the cause?
Okay, so I see a lot of people talking about loving the club, loving the club. Who the fuck loves the club besides the fans, really and truly? All these people do other jobs, right?
I agree with you, but
is Maratta Juventino or
No.
professional? Exactly. So what? Maratta won all his Scudetto at Juventus, and what? He didn't love the club.
Did you forget that Icardi was the one that said that, oh, I was an Inter fan since 2000 and blah, blah, blah. I used to play...
And he still wants to stay at the club. So what's the problem? He never said he wants to leave. He never said he wants to leave. He wants to stay here and score goals.
The problem is that he gets into issues and he's always in the headlines, and you don't want that in a dressing room that's going to be together for 8 months out of the year.
No problem. So let's just start with this whole beef now. Where did this whole thing come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wanda being on Tiki Taka.
Okay.
Is the most recent issue. Her running her mouth on there, attacking other players. That's what got Icardi stripped of the captaincy.
And was that really fair to him?
No.
Well, his wife is his agent. That's his mouthpiece.
Yeah.
That is an extension of him.
Yeah.
If you don't want that said, you don't want to lose your captaincy, don't let your agent be on a television show and cause drama. That's what she's on there for, is for that drama. We don't need these like media pieces. Somehow Morata was able to deal with Pogba of all people, but Icardi just
was he?
is beyond.
Yeah, now he's
Pogba
coming
left
back
for a lot of money too. You never heard this happening with Pogba. There were no big spats the way that we have Icardi over the years.
Not only that, Tevez.
What over the years? What?
Everything I named off. This guy
everything you spoke about.
Fans, bro.
Everything you spoke about, or at least when you started, he became captain after all that some of the shit you spoke about, right?
Yeah, because he was the best team at the worst time of the moment. It's like giving the captaincy.
And he remained captain throughout, right?
Yeah, because who's going to be the captain? Ranocchia?
Who else are you going to give the captaincy to, other than Handanovic, which could have been done way before? Were you going to keep it with? Were you going to keep it with Ranocchia? Were you going to give it to fucking Nagatomo?
You could have given it to
Handanovic.
You could have given it to Handanovic.
Are you really talking about the captain?
What?
Are you really talking about the captaincy? A captaincy that was given to Ranocchia. Like, the captaincy doesn't mean shit in this situation. He was given the captaincy because he was the best player in the team, and the team was quite terrible, as we know it. So, but I don't know. I don't see the correlation. He was given the captaincy on the sole purpose because he was the best player in the team. That's it. He was never a leader.
Who strips a captain of an armband, especially a captain who's been captain for what, 2 years now, going on 3 years? Who strips their captain of the armband in the middle of the season for something that he didn't do? I mean, yes, his agent was opening up her mouth, but he of himself did nothing. Right?
Okay.
Is that how you deal with it? Pardon?
Give me an example of a captain that left his team in the middle of the season for 2 months.
Okay.
And he was faking an injury.
Okay, right. So you do something like that, right? From all reports, right? The captaincy was stripped from him very suddenly, right?
I'm sure it was not a sudden thing because
it was
as
a
I saw a report on
listen, right?
It wasn't a sudden thing.
Spalletti came on TV after the Parma game, right? We won, I think it was 1-0, we won, right? Spalletti came on TV and said after the game that Marotta and management need to fix the problem with Icardi, right? Nobody knew what that was about. Everybody thought it was about the contract situation, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Exactly. Right? 2 or 3 days later, Inter Espanol tweets a picture of Icardi having the captain's armband to Lautaro, right? Everybody was like, what the fuck was that? Tweet was deleted. Boom, next day, Icardi is no longer captain, right? When Spalletti came out and did that and said that Inter management needs to sort out that problem, that was an ultimatum by Spalletti coming out there and putting pressure on management to strip the captaincy from him. Right?
There's no doubt that Spalletti has to have beef with somebody during the season too. I mean, look at what he did with Totti.
There's no doubt. So Spalletti signed war basically with management there at that point in time and said, here's what, I'm gonna make this known that you'll have to deal with whatever problem he had with Icardi. Right? We still don't know. I mean, y'all could say it was about Wanda or whatever and that sort of stuff, right? What Wanda said.
It's not about Wanda. It's about the combination of things that most of the things we don't know.
You want to follow the timeline? Perisic handed a transfer request in January, the last week of January, right?
Okay.
Nobody knew why he went. Well, everybody say yes, he wanted to leave because he wanted to go England and play football, blah, 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 right? On Tiki Taka, they asked why. What was the problem with Perisic? Perisic said, or Wanda said, she doesn't know. Maybe he has personal problems or something, right? After that, Perisic went into training and started and told Icardi, don't have your wife talking about me or something like that, right? So they had their spat, right?
It's not that black and white. We don't know much of the things.
That is what came out. I'm just going on along what came out, right?
Okay.
But you know what else she said? She also said something along the lines of Icardi doesn't have good enough players around him.
All right, this was after. This was after.
Fake news.
We're following along.
Fake news.
What is fake news? No, I just say let's follow the timeline, right? Spalletti.
I just like using the term.
Nah, fuck that. Spalletti came out and signed and put an ultimatum on the table, basically in front of everybody in the media, and said, here's what? Marotta and them need to do something about Icardi, right?
Okay.
Marotta is not going to fire a manager in the middle of the season. We all know this, right? But Spalletti probably at the end of the day, at that point in time as well, signed his resignation, basically. Right?
Spalletti?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? You take somebody who was your captain, who obviously y'all could say what y'all want about him, about he doesn't love the club, but the armband was something that you can see was valuable to him, right? It was pride, it was whatever it was, it meant something to him, right? He got stripped of the armband. I don't know how any of you guys would have reacted, but something that I take pride in, right, that would have affected me, right? Especially if, I didn't personally do something wrong. It was my agent, it was my wife, whatever, but at the end of the day, I didn't do anything at fault, right? Spalletti put the pressure on them to get the armband stripped. The decision was made, right? You come out, everybody was like, "Oh my God, we're in shock." Spalletti continued, right? Spalletti decided, right, we're going to Rapid Vienna, we're going to Austria to play a game. He's going to come out and say, you know what? We called Icardi. He didn't want to come and play, right? That was not the right thing to do, right? You now made a huge, massive decision here. You fucked with a player who is one of our most important players, our captain, somebody who is proud of whatever he does, right? And Spalletti continues his beef, right? And he comes out now and decides to embarrass the player, humiliate him, and say, no, he's a traitor. He doesn't want to play for us. That should not have been dealt with like that. Plain and simple. Understand that the player would be upset. You now strip his armband, give him a period, a little fucking, give him a break, say, all right, no problem. He was in the right frame of mind to come and play a game, right? Things would not have gone the way that it went if Spalletti didn't come out and jump out of himself and created this problem. And Spalletti continued every time he had an opportunity in the media to say what he had to say. And Icardi didn't have any chance to come out and oppose anything. He still hasn't opposed Spalletti or even come out and said what the truth is, right?
Well, his wife could have said it.
What's that?
His agent could have come out and said it.
Could she? Could she?
Could she?
She
could have.
She probably could. Man. She probably could. But that would be all-out war with the club.
And how's that different from what's happened before with her going and negotiating with other teams? What's the difference?
What do you mean, what's the difference?
She could go to war. She could defend her what's the word? She could defend her client. She could be an agent, but all she wants is the drama. All they all wanted was the drama. Look, I'm not saying that Spalletti handled it the best way.
No,
he made it worse.
Spalletti fucked
He made it way worse. But I'm not saying that Icardi didn't have something disciplinary coming. I love the guy. He scored so many goals. I've got jerseys with him on the back of it. But when you do so much of the stuff that he's done, something's going to happen. The shoe's going to drop.
Chino, you're too biased when it comes to this debate.
No, it's not even biased. It's just
it is.
We handle the situation badly. People don't see how Spalletti put pressure on our management to get what he wanted. That's why Spalletti was gone. Spalletti achieved top 4, but Spalletti has been fired.
All of us agree that Spalletti didn't handle the situation as he should have done. When nobody says otherwise. But we're talking about Icardi and how Icardi handled the situation. Not coming out to say anything. Marotta in a statement said that he met with Vanda on a couple of occasions when he was at Juventus last summer to discuss Icardi.
Where did you get that from?
I have to
some random Twitter account posted that today.
No, it wasn't. It was a statement. I'm not talking about that.
No, I'm telling you. There was a random Twitter account posted today.
No. It was a statement of that he was interested in Icardi. He thinks that Icardi is an exceptional player. We've talked about him. He's in our plans. But we won't talk any more about Icardi because Icardi is not our player. And that's it. So they had plans and they met. They didn't discuss anything, but they met. So he had in mind that if Vanda is willing to meet me, the biggest club or the biggest rival of this club, so why would she not go out of her way to meet with other agents, Real Madrid, blah blah blah. You cannot trust her. Like Icardi is an exceptional player.
Trust her about what? Marotta just came from Juventus. Conte is a Juventus legend. What the fuck are you telling me about? These guys can't talk about being, faithful to another club when they just came from the enemy.
They're professionals,
though. So what? One is a professional doing a job as an agent.
Do you think that Conte gives a fuck about Juventus when he's earning 11 fucking millions? Are you serious? Do you think Marotta, who was working at Sampdoria before Juventus, do you think that he's a Juventus fan for real?
So,
come
Wanda
on.
doing her job as an agent.
You cannot
creating demand for her player.
No.
Right?
No.
What?
You cannot go out and say Real Madrid is interested in my agent. Inter made a deal with Juventus. They wanted to sell him. It was all over. But then Icardi rejected. You cannot say that shit. You cannot say that Napoli was almost all out to sign Icardi when Higuain went to Juventus. You cannot say that shit like that. Like, you cannot say that Juventus is interested in your agent, or you were going to Juventus, something along those lines. Like, that's disrespectful towards the club and the player itself. Like, if you're an agent, you're trying to do everything that's possible to benefit your client.
And she
But you're
was
not
doing that.
that.
She was doing that.
Was she?
She got them a salary
Did he get the
increases.
Perez when?
He's
2.5 years ago?
He's getting it next month. Or this month when he leaves, though, right? Isn't he?
He's getting a Perez where?
Wherever he
Napoli?
goes. Double his salary.
Do you-
Wherever he goes, he's getting double what he's being paid now. Right?
Do you think that he's going to get 12 to 14 million in Napoli?
He's getting
He's
double.
getting 10 at Napoli by the reports. They say that they've offered him 10, so that's close.
Isn't Raja getting the same amount of money as him now?
As who?
Nah, Icardi.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he's getting about 4.5 to 5 million as well. All right? Imagine he
How much does Icardi get?
4.5 million.
Okay.
The disrespect. Imagine you bring a fucking drunk from Roma, right? Who doesn't want to play for Inter, who's fucking up Inter and whatnot, showing up late for training. You paying him as much as you paying your club captain. That's disrespect.
Ex-captain.
That's disrespect.
I mean, I get you. Like, all of us agree on the topic that we are talking about. We think that he's an exceptional player, that he's underpaid. I even tweeted back in January, you cannot go out in the public as an agent of a player to say that your agent or your client wants a new contract in the middle of the season.
Bro,
especially
every contract gets negotiated during the season.
Not publicly, though.
Negotiated. But nobody goes out in public to. Raiola is one of the most eccentric agents. Have you ever seen him go out in public and say, "Oh, Pogba deserves a raise in the media in January"? No,
Pogba doesn't.
Like, you worked.
He doesn't deserve a raise, bro. He's getting paid about 15 million or so. He doesn't deserve a raise.
I'm talking about Raiola and his way of dealing. Like, I think that he's an exceptional, an exceptional agent. But you never see anything that he's talking about except during the transfer window. Like, she can learn from that. But she fucked his career over. If she wasn't his agent, he would have get.
No. Correct. She fucked his Inter career over. Because if he leaves, he is leaving for right now a better team and getting paid double. So he fucked his Inter career and the fans of Inter, right? His career will just improve and get better. We are the only losers in this situation. The Inter fans, right?
Are we
get
though?
that? Yeah, we are. We are losing a world-class player who has not hit his prime as yet, right? So
we don't know yet,
and we are not going to get value as well. So trust me, we are the only losers in this situation.
All right, final statements. Final statements. I will give Chino one more statement, and I will give Hristo one more statement because we've been running this for probably about 20 minutes now.
I mean, as Chino said, he wanted to close out on this.
No,
so
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, but we all agree that he's an excellent player. As I said a few minutes ago, he's underpaid. Vanda fucked us. It fucked him over. He could have get a raise if another agent was in charge of him, but that's completely another story. I think that, sadly, his story at Inter is finished. I think that he deserves more from Inter, but at the same time, he didn't, especially this season, he didn't put up with the things that I expected from a captain to do. So, all in all, I don't wish him a good career. Fuck him. He disrespected us this season as fans, not as team. Fuck that. As fans, I feel fucking disrespected by him. So I don't know what to say anymore. Chino can take over.
Spalletti fucked us over with Icardi, right?
Of course, fuck him too.
That is the problem.
I don't give a shit about him.
Spalletti went his fucking way to go and coach nobody, right? Wanda is an asshole, right? She could be a little bit better at her job, but she's a
little bit better.
She's a loudmouth Latin American woman. Let's be real, right? She can't really get any better. but she is going to get her payday, right? And they are going to be better off, right? It's just a whole total mess, really and truly. He's the 7th top scorer in Inter history.
Yes.
He could have been just as big as Zanetti, because he could have stayed forever, right? And I think he was going to stay forever, right?
Even if he did, like the fans will never forget the antics that we're talking about. Like the fans will never forget.
Bro, every single thing that happened has been forgotten, and it's only coming back now because the fans are upset and the fans are hurt. So everything is just coming back up now.
In 10 years' time, everybody will remember Icardi as an excellent player, as an excellent scorer, as an excellent finisher, but at the same time, a player that had so many problems out of the field. Trust me, like you're not like you're too biased in this situation. You keep blaming Spalletti, blah blah blah. Of course, everybody is responsible for this. Marotta, Spalletti, the club, Icardi, everyone. We are talking about Spalletti and Icardi right now. Like both of them are responsible for this shit. Especially Icardi. Like you cannot be a captain of the team, especially a captain that succeeded Zanetti. You cannot be a captain of such club, of such magnitude, and just to fucking go out as an injured player in the middle of the season. Like, fuck that. We have a problem on the contract issue. Okay, you can deal with my agent. My job is to play. Like, I don't see the problem in that.
I think that's about the best way to end it. That seemed to be pretty much a consensus. Well, as close as we're going to get to a consensus that it's a sad situation and everybody in it is at fault, and it's a shame because he really could have been something. Or he is something. He will always be something at Inter. His name will be that high.
Imagine how it's going to burn a year from now watching Icardi lift on trophies. Just think about that. If he does, imagine if he does with Napoli of all teams.
Hey, man. Hey. It is what it is.
Imagine
it is what it is. What are you going to do about it, man?
What am I going to do about it? Fuck that shit. I got through laughing into Twitter. That's what I'm going to do.
So after all that, that's a lot. That was a crazy segment. We'll run through these questions real quick because it's been a while, and we'll get out of here. So we've only have a few questions. You guys need to get better at asking this shit. Come on now. We know y'all are out there, but we'll go ahead with these few questions. We had Jaffa again at J4FN1 hashtag El Jardinero. Fuck yeah, cut that out. We have Jaffa at J4FN1. He says, "What under the?" So
Mikey
Jaffa at J.
No, you're fucking putting something.
You hear that?
Yeah.
All right, so Jaffa at J4FN1. He says, "What under the radar moves can you recommend?" I think that the best under the radar move, I mentioned it being under the radar earlier, is going to be Cincy. I think he's going to do some pretty surprising things for us.
Wait, wasn't he asking about movies?
Oh, movies. Yeah. I thought he said moves. Fuck.
No, it's movies.
Okay. Yeah, I can't read. Do you want to give a movie, or do you just want to cut that one out?
No. Just read it again. You'd have to mention the name.
So Jaffa tells us, what under the radar movies can you recommend? Because I guess we can't talk enough football. So
this is IMDb or whatever.
This is David Samuel Cultureland.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spit out just one movie that I really liked in the past few years, and it's one of my favorite. It's Train to Busan. It's a Korean film that's all about like survival, zombie apocalypse. So I'm gonna shout out the movie.
All right, that's good enough.
Okay.
And our only other question, really, we had one from Luis again, but we kind of answered that. I incorporated that into one of our segments with the formations and the players. So shout out to him for giving me that idea. Our last question is from Dino.
Forza Mexico tomorrow is Gold Cup final. Is it?
Yeah.
Back in Mexico. Sorry, Mikey.
Viva la Mexico.
Yeah, Viva la Mexico.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the U.S. national team, so whatever happens, happens.
Okay.
And our final question from Dino. He's asked us a couple of questions before. He says, "Is there a future at Inter for Karamo?" We covered this earlier for a good bit. I say no, unless he turns into something special at Parma.
Nope.
Yeah, no unless he turns into like Mbappe or some shit like that, or Dembele.
Gabigol and Karamo linking up needed.
Hey, it could happen. That's all we've got. We'll get out of you guys' ears. If you're listening this long, thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next one, and thanks.